No, that did not. I didn't execute that the way I thought I would.
Okay. All right. Should we try it again?
If they're not used to this by now, I don't know. I don't know.
It's real. Okay. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3.
Happy New Year! Is there like, can we make fireworks come? Like, I don't know. We keep finding.
And then earlier today, we were just chatting before we started recording, and I was eating my eggs and I held my plate and I didn't do anything. I was just having eggs.
We were talking and no one was moving.
I was holding my plate and all of a sudden here came a thumbs up for me.
Just a little thumbs up just drifted to Jana's head. In a bubble. We have no idea.
Big Brother Zoom is watching me apparently, and it's like, oh yeah, good breakfast.
Good breakfast. Good job.
It was, but you know. Woo! Starting off with a bang.
We did it. We made it to the last day of the year.
31-day countdown.
31-day Vlogmas.
Happy Hogmanay.
Because I'm back in my thing, I want to show all the colors from Laxdale.
Oh, that's so lovely.
So there you have those. And now it's, I didn't mean to hit the microphone. Now is the day to open and see the final project. So there have been a couple people who have the spring boxes who have been very good about sharing photos of the yarn.
Yes.
So if you watch, I'll watch for that today. And just whoever can get that to me first, I will love you forever. And I'll repost that so people can see all the spring colors together.
So go to Anne's Instagram.
So look on, I thought I knew how on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm just going to empty all of this out.
Yeah, that's fine. So we're switching up the order of operations today because we want to talk about the yarn, the pattern, wrapping up the Hogmanay box, and our last day's Friendsmas exchange gifts.
Yeah.
Then we have a fantastic interview with your pattern designer, Terri Laura from Shetland. We'll put that in to this episode. Then we'll come back and wrap up.
Yeah. So we have a little letter here for the people who are involved that gives it tells you what all the things are and where they came from. And I'm going to wait until the last thing to show the pattern.
Oh. Okay.
So this is what comes in the goodies. So we have, this is a card from Garth's Croft, Bressa.
Oh.
And Chris Dyer does a calendar and cards and tote bags, and then he gives tours and experiences at the Croft. But this is he only does a little bit of merch, and this is one of them.
Oh,
he takes great photos of the sheep. So that's one thing. And then you also have a card from Burra Bears. Who's Wendy Inkster. So she does memory bears. I have one of them here actually.
Yeah.
She'll take old sweaters or just have Fair Isle knit for her, and then she turns them into memory bears.
That's darling.
So this is 2 of the vintage sweaters she found that were just way too cute to cut. So they put them on the link one year.
That is an amazing photo.
That's just, you can use that as a postcard. What else? There's a young lady there who paints ornaments, little Scandinavian style decorations. So we have one of those again. So Mela does candles and soaps and lip balms and things. So you have a little lip balm from Mela.
To put in your notions kit.
In your notions kit.
Just saying.
We also have 2. So the ladies behind Aister also will do customizable pencils at their little shop. So this one says Happy Hogmanay 2023, which is Happy New Year's Eve. Yeah. And so 2023. And then there's also Happy Newer Day, which is for New Year's Day 2024. So you have 2 pencils and the colors vary. And then you have some little packets with things. So first we have, this is a little magnet by an artist, a cut paper artist there called Jilly B.
Uh-huh.
Two ladies out in the sea doing a polar bear swim. There is a puffin pin from the RSPB, who all the proceeds from this go to wildlife habitat
Conservation. Yeah.
conservation, things like that. So you have those. I'm going to put it back in nicely. Then we also have, oh, so Becky from the Silly Sheep Company she takes some of her yarn and has it woven into tweed. And then there's a lovely lady on the island named Andrea from Up House Crafts, and she does sewn items.
Okay.
So last year, if you did it, you got, I think, a little face cloth or a coaster, one or the other. I can't remember now. But she took some of Becky's beautiful tweed and made it into key fobs. So you have a key fob there.
That's cool. Yeah.
And then, okay, so you're like, Anne, there's a key fob. Why would we then need a keychain? So there's a little keychain here, and this has a little story with it, okay?
Okay.
So I went to Burra, which is where Burra Bears is from, for my very first tea, Sunday tea. So Sunday teas are a phenomenon there in Shetland where a group will get together and do a fundraiser, and everyone will bring in those home bakes and sandwiches and everything. And there's a nominal fee, like £5, £7, whatever. And it's basically like, eat what you want. They come around and pour tea and coffee for everyone. There'll be raffles. There'll be people having little sales things, whatever. And there was a girl there at my very first tea that I was very excited to be at, who was making these little, let's see if I can get it close to there we go. They're little epoxy keychains where she went beachcombing, and they're sand and little shells or bits of shells or whatever. And I just was so impressed that she had like made all of these things and she was out there trying to sell them, that I was like, could you make 80 for me? And her mom was like, and I was like, yeah. And she was like, sure. No, like she was so excited. So that's a bonus. That wasn't included in the plan. That's a little gift from me to you, because I just wanted to.
Because you're supporting the young entrepreneur.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. So she did. Yay.
So she did. And then the last thing is I went to my friend Cecil at Paparwark Furniture, and some of you might know him as the fellow who does the blocking boards, the jumper boards.
I ordered one last year from him.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
And I said, could you make me a needle gauge? And he said, what is a needle gauge? And so I went and bought a needle gauge and left it with him. I was like, this is a needle gauge. Can you do this? And they had just gotten one of those like
jigsaw.
wood, not a jigsaw, but like that you can program it and it just does it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. And he did.
So he did. So they have, in addition to their wood products, they also have their own line of wool called Westland wool that is great. It's from their animals. It just comes, the balls are 50 grams is their smallest, so it's too big to use in the box. But I love their wool too. And then they have Shetland Hogmanay Box 2023 on the back
if you're
of it.
interested in Cecil, Paparwark, the jumper boards, all the things that his wool, we have done an interview with him in the past that I will link down below with his information.
Right.
Because Cecil's, I like him a lot.
He's such a sweetheart. They're good people. Nice. He and his wife and like everyone who works for him, they're just good people.
And they train sheepdogs.
And they train sheepdogs as well. Yeah. So let me find the picture page. You're going to hear Terri talk about this more.
Yes. I just dropped a stitch because I was excited.
Terri decided she was going to do more than just giving us a pattern. So we have a experience Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So on page 1, she gives you all of these like questions and thoughts to think about as you're trying all these different makers yarns. How do you like it in the ball? What does it feel like? How does it feel like when you're using it? Like just different thoughts and things she sort of guides you through here, right? And then and then she gave us 2 projects to do, not just one. So what I asked her to do was a cushion.
Oh my.
And so this is our cushion pattern here. That's the front.
Oh.
This is the back. And in a moment, Terri's going to have the cushion. She'll be able to see it better.
And you'll see how each motif or each line is from a different makers that we've seen. Yeah.
And then
That's
also
brilliant.
she gave us instructions on how to do wall hangings, 1 maker per wall hanging.
Yeah.
So you can also have wall decorations that you can do.
Nice.
So 2 projects that you can do with the yarn that you had. Well, really like 6 projects because 5 wall hangings and the cushion. And really some good thoughtful questions for you to contemplate as you are before you're knitting, while you're knitting, after you're knitting, that you can keep in mind for each of those yarns and really come up with a decision, an opinion for yourself. People ask me so often, what is your favorite of the Shetland yarns? And I'm like, well, it matters what you're using it for.
It depends.
Like it matters. So this is to help you start forming your own thoughts about which one you like best for what thing.
And why, maybe. Yeah.
And why.
So get a notebook. Get a notebook. A new notebook.
Get a notebook
for the new
year. Ready, because you're not going to remember. I always think I'll remember. And then I'm like, wait, which was the one I liked best for that? Yeah. Write your thoughts down.
Because I also like the act of writing rather than just typing it in Ravelry.
Yeah.
I like to write. Yeah.
That's all for you. Yay. From this Shetland Hogamany Box. So guys, you supported 5 wool producers, a bunch of the smaller makers, people working with the wool. You did a wonderful job. With this, so we really like reached out and supported a lot of the economy there. Were a lot of people who are excited to be part of this. So thank you for making this box a reality by doing it. And people ask, are you doing it again? I mean, can I have a deep breath first?
We're going to take maybe a week off after all this and see what's what. But
so if you're interested though, if you're interested, just follow my I Thought I Knew How Instagram. I'm not subtle when the sales go live. So
and we'll probably do another podcast and talk about that.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah. Definitely follow.
In the meantime, like Terri did a fabulous job. You're about to hear more about it. I asked her to do one thing in 2 colorways. She did all of this for us in 2 different colorways. Right. Just fab.
Amazing. So we'll talk about we're going to cut over to the interview with her and talk about her design process. And she graciously joined us from Shetland for an interview, and that was really a neat experience to visit with her about how she developed all this and her design process.
Absolutely.
Terri!
Hi.
We were just saying it's been a long time. You haven't been on the channel in like well over a year and a half. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
That's crazy, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like this year and a half has been a crazy time.
And you have a toddler. So it is crazy.
Yeah, not a baby anymore, a toddler. So life is different. A whole person, yeah.
He runs around.
You have to really plan things for him to do now because he's got so many plans and ideas. So it's busy.
Yes. Excellent. Well, I know you've been on the podcast before, but it's been a long time. And I will put a link to our previous interview down below in the video description if people want to go back and see some background. However, we have a lot of, we've had new viewers since that happened. So if you wouldn't mind, sharing a little about yourself and I know that you're from Shetland, born and bred. And if you can tell us a little about your work, that'd be great.
Yeah. So first of all, it's great to be back. Hi, everyone I've seen before, and hi, all Jana's new people. We are, I am here in Shetland, and I am a knitwear designer. I full-time in traditional Shetland knitwear, so whether that's actually making pieces, designing pieces, speaking to the visitors that come, and teaching classes. Really, I've got my toe in a little bit of everything, and I really enjoy the variety. So yeah, that's me. I'm all about traditional Shetland knitting and wool.
And when we say traditional Shetland knitting, though, you're more on the colorwork fair isle, rather than, you don't do a lot of lace, do you? Do you?
No, I don't do a lot of lace, but today I decided that this is my new Wool Week annual jumper that I'm wearing today, and it does have a little bit of lace on it, but much more simple than the real lace designers that we have here.
Right.
So I'm getting into I'm getting my confidence up in lace, because I would do it secretly at home, but I wouldn't do it in public just because we've got such a talent here. But I'm definitely from a Fair Isle family.
Yes.
Colorwork stranded Fair Isle, and that's where my default is. I think I have to think a bit more for lace.
Well, you have some patterns we will link below on Ravelry, and the way your family, your grandmother, the way you all do the color blending, I call it the Malcolmson glow.
Love that.
Kind of, I mean, I've said that on social media, like hashtag Malcolmson, because that's your maiden name, and your grandmother's Wilma.
Yeah.
But you do have a color sense that's unique and blends very well, and I think it's fantastic, and it's recognizable, in my opinion.
So. Well, yeah, it's funny how our designs, I think you can tell, if you're in it, you can tell what's probably mine and what's probably hers, but you can also tell that we are related and we've spent a lot of time together. So I think that's quite nice. I quite like having this bubble with her. It's really nice.
It's lovely. And when I say recognizable, I mean your family's is recognizable compared to other Shetland designers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like to think so, but then I think I'm too far in it, in the way that if I see something that I've not seen before, I can kind of think, oh, is that from Scalawa? Is that from this place? Is that from this place? I can kind of have a sense. So I think I would love to come in with a fresh pair of eyes and really look at it new and get that sense. But I really like that that's something you've picked up on. That's really lovely.
Yeah. So Terri, you are the designer this year for the Shetland Hogmanay Box. I wanted to do something a little different this year, and instead of doing a different pattern for every yarn producer, see if we could do a pattern that incorporated all of the different yarns. And I came to you with that request, and I'm just curious what your first thought was when I brought this idea to you.
Yeah, I have this thing where I don't get the fear until much later. So my first thought was, yes, we have so many yarn producers here. We don't often have a chance to work with so many different people, especially on one project, never mind in a close space of time. So right. I really loved, like, oh yes, I want to be able to go and really dive in with all of these different producers that we have here. That was really exciting. The rest of it really didn't faze me until I really had to start piecing it together, and I thought, okay, this is huge.
Challenging. Yeah.
Really a challenge. It really pushed me, and it really made me think much more outside my comfort zone, which is not a bad thing at all. That's always, you need that now and again. But to have one project, 5 different producers, but then 6 colors from each, and you don't really want duplicates because people are excited every day to open up their their package. So it was a lot of thinking about the end product, but to be honest, I had to shift my focus to the experience of the whole event, because it's supposed to be exciting every day. There's so much. I wanted you to really think when you're opening all the parcels, what on earth is this going to end up being? So so much to think about, so many different pieces to come together. And I'm relieved we're at this stage, to be honest.
I have
I
to
think
say,
it's
I loved what
amazing.
you came up with
Amazing.
for the end results, because
Good.
it's not just a pattern. I remember when you first brought me, you know, the concept at the end, where it is a pattern, but you also have all the questions for people to really think about each of the different producers' yarns. So what is it like when it's in the ball? What are your thoughts with it as you are making with it? You know, and you really, you've created a thoughtful experience for people as they're knitting this, which I
Oh,
think is brilliant.
wow, that's really
Yeah.
neat. I haven't
So
seen
I
it
just,
for viewers. I
yeah,
haven't seen this. I don't even know what it's supposed to look like, so I'm getting surprised with all of you.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying Jana's reactions as
Yeah.
we're revealing things. So yes, because I had so much in my head as I was doing it, I just really thought, okay, I'm getting so much from this. How can I make sure people get the most from this? And even if it's just a question on a page, you know, it's not a worksheet, it's not homework, it's just
To think
a
about.
line that you read and it gets
Yeah.
you thinking. I just thought, okay, well, hopefully this will not only make this experience a little bit extra and make people even a bit more confident in their own opinions on the yarn that they're buying, the yarn that they're choosing,
Right.
helping them articulate, or even just in their minds think about, why do I like this more than this?
Yeah.
And I
And
think that is really valuable. And I hope people do take the time to make some notes as they go, because one of the questions I get asked a lot as like a Shetland outsider who spends so much time there is people will be very sort of like, come on, Anne, you can tell me which one is your favorite, like which one is the best, you know? And I'm not going to answer that question, because first of all, I invited these 5 makers because I love all 5 of their yarns. And that's not to say that I don't love the ones who weren't involved with this box. I pretty much love all the yarns that come out of Shetland. But also I feel like they each have unique qualities to them that make them better suited to different types of projects or different types of looks.
Yeah.
And so I really think it is smart to experience each of the producers' yarns, and be mindful and make notes so you remember, oh, this one's a little loftier than the others. This one's, you know, just has a different type of depth of color to it. So that when you go back, you're not like, oh, wait, was it this one that was like that or the
Oh
other
yeah,
one?
because
You
I
know,
can't
like,
remember things. I can't remember things
yeah.
at all. I'll remember like, oh, I love that yarn, but wait, which one? Which one was it?
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
So
so
even if it's in your Ravelry feed, or, you know, as you make posts on Instagram or just in a notebook, I would encourage you to really like get some of those thoughts out and down so you remember as you're doing future projects that call for these Shetland producers.
You'll know who to order from later.
Yeah.
yeah, and I kind of set these out in a way to help people understand yarn a little bit too, if they feel like they don't have the background in it, because there's the questions or the prompts that are set out. They're in 3 sections. They're in, I've got my notes here, they're in before knitting, while knitting, and after knitting. So that maybe if you have a thought about something before you've knitted it, just while it's in the ball, and then you can see how you feel about it while you're knitting, and then after you're knitting, you can kind of make connections. Okay, before it's knitted, it feels like this, which equates to this, which equates to this. So it kind of can, you know, when you're shopping for yarn, no matter what it is, if it's from Shetland or if it's not from Shetland, but if you can kind of gather that information in the timeline, because, you know, when you're finished a project, you can't remember how you felt about just the ball before. You've experienced so much in between times. So I really wanted to separate out the different stages. And I hope it kind of gives people a little bit more confidence that they can choose yarn, because that's what I get in my classes most, is how do I know what to buy, especially for colour work. But there's so much more when we've got all these producers here, and you do get slightly different textures, and it's really interesting.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
So that was fun.
Yeah,
there's a lot. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's a good practice. I think you've brought up some good things that I hadn't thought about before, whether it's working with Shetland yarn or any yarn, to be mindful, to be more mindful about the materials that we're working with, you know,
Yeah.
that we're not just like cranking it out, you know, we're not factories, and we have, we can have the choice, you know, for most of us, we can choose, well, I want to use this wool or this wool, depending on, but you don't think about it in the depth, like you're saying, before you knit it, while you're knitting it, after you're knitting it. I hadn't thought of that. So good points. Very good points.
Yeah, and it was all things that was kind of happening to me while I was designing. So it's really a shared experience now when people start to play with it themselves. So that's really nice.
So how do you go about the design process? Like, to me, it just seems overwhelming. Like, where to start? Where do you even begin?
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
So I really, the main challenge here was going to be choosing the colors, because that's my whole thing. Motifs is fine. I can, you know, we can put together motifs, we can organize that, but really for this to have a different color pulled out every day over a full month, well, I really had to just stick to color to begin with and then organize things later. Now, I knew when Anne mentioned this, I knew that I wanted to group the manufacturers together.
Oh, okay.
So that
that wasn't my initial plan. That wasn't my thought. Terry's the one who thought to keep them together, and she had to sell me on it, to be honest. But I
was about to say
that it was the best idea.
I think that's a great idea, though, because like she just talked about experience,
as she said,
the fiber. If I only work with it for one day, I might need a little more time to digest how that all feels over the course of 5 or 6 days, rather than just one and then moving on. I think
this is why you go to a master and commission them to do this work for you.
So I was about to say, I can't remember if that was something I just assumed when I got the brief, kind of thing, or if I was stubborn on it. I was about to say, if I hadn't had to be stubborn on it, I would have been, because I would have really have struggled to design with the textures being mixed like that. I think you get such a nice experience, and not only the textures, but the types of colors that these producers produce grouped together in such a specific way, and such they have kind of their own moods just with the types of colors that they put out.
Right.
So I think keeping the colors together, keeping the textures together, and really we have to think about as well, it's not real life if you're mixing like that. You wouldn't normally do that in a project.
Right. That's true.
You know, for example, I would mix ones that like producers of similar textures if I needed the color. But day to day, you wouldn't have maybe 5 rows and 2 colors per row, but there's 5 different producers in there. You wouldn't, it's not real life. So it didn't feel natural. Well, it just wasn't on my mind that I would do that. I'm going to group them together. That's it.
Yeah.
And I think you do get a really nice, because it's one project as well, you can run your hand over it and feel the textures, because they are grouped like that. And that's after it's complete as well. So it's not just the knitter that can experience that, it's whoever you show it to, or, you know, whoever you explain the project to. So I think that's really important too. I've got them here, so I'm glancing at them as well. These are my neighbours. These are my, you know, these are all people who live here with me. So I just went very practical with this. So the first producer I went to was Becky at Silly Sheep. She hand dyes it all herself. So I knew, okay, she's going to need the most amount of notice of what I need for this. So I went to her first, got some ideas from there. But I couldn't, I told her at the beginning when I went there first, okay, I'm going to set yours and then I'll move on to the next one. But I couldn't, because I needed more context from the other ones that was going to be included. So I was a bit more annoying than I was hoping to be, but it's fine. She knew roughly what I was going for first.
And can I just jump in? The ironic thing was that she needed the most time because she had to have all the dyeing done. She also was the first one to be ready. And handed in. Once she had the go ahead, she was like, it's done. And I was like, oh, I hope we sell all the boxes. because she had it ready for me to go. She's very on top of
That's
things.
fantastic.
When I went, because I was trying as much as possible to go to these places personally and speak to them, because the first thing I said to all of them was, only show me what is going to be easiest for you. Do not make your life difficult, because if you can rein me in, that's less decisions for me to make anyway. So show me the easy things you can do and we'll go from there. So, but it was fun. I wanted to go along, everybody. It's a good excuse. So. But as soon as I went to Becky and told her the colours, she said, okay, I'll be doing that this weekend. And I was like, oh, I've left it too long and now she really needs to get this done. But she was actually on the ball.
Yeah.
So that was good. Next, I went to Laxdale, mostly because I wasn't confident I had seen all the colours they had on offer. So I'd played with a few of their colours, but not a huge number like I would normally. So I was like, okay, this is kind of what I need to find out, is I need to see these colours in person, so I can discover more of what's available from there rather than just what I have in my head. So I really needed to get the full picture from there. So that was a lot of fun, of course. And then Aister I went to, and they had some new colours that would only be out when this was out. So that was good that I went there next. And then Uradale, I kind of knew Uradale's formula. You know, they've got the way that they dye and the way that things come together. So I knew that I could find what I needed to slot in, because I really knew their whole process of how it works there. So they were fourth. And then Jamieson's, I basically sleep in a bed of Jamieson's yarn. So I knew whatever I needed to fill the gaps.
You've had a lot of experience with them a lot. So
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. They have all, if you've done any of my colour classes recently, they have all their colours have personalities that I can tell you what they will do and what they will not do. So I knew, I can fill in gaps with Jamieson's in the best way, best way, but I didn't need to rush and choose from there either. They've got a much bigger operation than the rest. So that was fine. So I was very logical, and just because it's so much easier because I knew these people. So that was lots of fun. Yeah. And then after a lot of playing around, the colours started to come together. A few things were tweaked as we go, especially as well because the people who have these boxes have got one, but I was doing this twice. So I had 5 different companies.
Yes, because of the 2 different.
Yeah, so I had to choose the springish themes. This was, I think it was me that I was like, it has to be 2. It's going to be kind of springy and autumny, wintry, because that's how I can separate the 2. So I'm going to have 6 springy ones and 6 autumny ones, but none of them can be the same because it's so it had to be full different categories.
So you had a whole palette for one and the other, and no crossing over. Wow, no, I did not realize that. That's amazing.
It's a lot, and I didn't realize how terrifying it would be when Anne first said it. I was super excited, and I'm super excited I've managed it. But in the middle, I was.
What have I done?
Yeah.
There were a few times when I saw Terri in the in-between times when I could feel the nerves coming on her, like when she was in the process. And
I was just like, I don't have any answers for you now, but I'm sure it will happen.
And you're thinking, Anne, I don't want to talk to you right now. Just no. You go away.
Well, no, see, I did meet up with Anne for dinner, and then I was praying that she wouldn't bring it up. Not today. I can't deal with this today.
Not today.
Yeah, Anne's the type of person that if she brought it up and I was like, I can't do this today, then she'd be like,
okay, it's okay. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, that was a situation in the middle stage. It was a scary situation. Yeah.
But you've pulled it off, apparently. Yeah.
She has.
It exists.
Do you want to tell us about the design now?
Yes. Okay, so the official, the main one is, we know it's for the home. but the main one is a cushion.
Oh,
Do you want to
So-
show?
Which one would it make sense to show first?
Let's show the winter one first because everyone's seen the colors for that.
I
Okay.
haven't.
Well, Jana has.
Well, I mean, I will have by
at
the
this
time this-
point,
yes.
when we're airing this, everyone will have seen the
That's true.
colors.
By the time this airs,
It's space and time. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try and... So there's 2 faces on it too. Okay. So
Right.
take in the first face and then take in the next face. Okay. So this is the first face. I'm going to rotate so you get the light. Well, it's not great, is it?
wow, that's amazing.
Okay. And then the next face
The back. Yep.
Oh my goodness, that
I
is
love
looks
both
like
of
this.
those.
brilliant.
So I'm going to just adjust my lamp here and we'll get a better...
I want to touch it like through.
I know. Exactly. Okay.
Oh my word.
So that's the wintry one. That's the one that I've been opening every day.
Yes, that
as
is
we've
been
going
amazing,
through.
Terri. That is just stunning.
Thank you. So do you want me to point out each of the producers?
Yeah, if you want to go
Yes.
through.
Mhm. Okay, so we have Uradale here is first. And then we have Aister here.
Mhm.
We have Silly Sheep in the middle. We've got Jamieson's and we've got Laxdale up on top. So here
Wow.
we've got a mixture of, a lot of it is a bluish base.
Yeah.
We've got yellows and oranges here, we've got pinks and reds here, we've got reds and purples here, we've
Brilliant.
got browns and kind of almost peachy orange here. This one has got a pink background, like a kind of a wintry pink background with some naturals and a blue on there. So very different, each one.
Mhm.
I'll show you as well, I have the pattern here, just so you can see a little bit clearer what the chart looks like. So it looks like
Wow.
we're dealing with, and that's the other face there.
That's fantastic. What occurs to me just seeing that is really there's 2 charts only, but when you see the finished cushion, it looks so
More.
much more complicated.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
different colors creates such a different, each section from each producer has such a different feel, but it's all the same chart. But you wouldn't, I mean, I guess, wow.
So
amazing.
I always say that's the art in this, is to make things look more complicated than they are. These charts are really easily repeatable. You know, you can read that as you're going across your round. It's not a stressful round to knit.
Yes.
And yeah,
Wonderful.
so both cushions have just, this is all the information you need.
That's it.
Wow.
So
Oh, wow.
that's the wintry one. So that's the kind of the colours that you've been seeing, and that's how it comes together. The springy one is, and this makes me happy to look at. This is such a, yeah.
It's very
So-
cheerful. It's very bohemian.
Wow. Yeah, it is that. Oh, that is. Wow. I don't have enough adjectives. I just don't. That is the neat. That is so
So
amazing.
I love this top one too.
Yeah.
So another thing, these, if I'm holding this upside down, if it's the right way up, then it's knitted in the same order. So we have Uradale,
Okay.
Aister, Silly Sheep, Jamieson's, Laxdale. And yeah, lots of kind of bright yellows, pinks, oranges here. So that's the
Oh,
kind of the
gosh.
main side. And then on the back
Ooh.
here.
Wow. That is just brilliant. I mean, brain splody for
Oh,
sure.
so much. You can imagine how much I learned doing this.
I cannot imagine. It doesn't even. I can't fathom. I can't. Wow.
I'm just watching Jana the whole time
You're-
to see
but
his
it's-
I can't wait
reaction.
to see this video.
It's fantastic because when I hear what you said you had to do to make this work, and then seeing that, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's really a feat. I mean, congratulations to you. That is a an amazing.
I'm putting this on my CV. This is a
yes.
achievement.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. I mean, and Anne
So-
had this idea, but then you brought it to fruition
Absolutely. Yeah.
and made
Terry's
this
the one
work.
that made this work.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Grown arms and legs. So just, I have on the, so this is the patterns that people are getting here. So it's really a 4-page document. So on the first page, I have the colors sitting there individually. So we have, that's the wintry one.
Yeah.
There.
Wow.
And then the springy one. So you can see they're so different. But still, it was a struggle not to have used the same colors. You know, you have colors that you kind of get attached to in a project. So,
And the pattern itself, I mean, it's just such high quality, and the photos are amazing, and the charts are clear, and you all had all that printed, and oh my gosh.
So yeah, it did come together. But another thing, and knowing that this is coming up, because I'm fussy with how things are in context and how you feel about them and all of these things. So you can see that the cushions here, there's a lot of information on here.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yes.
What I felt, because I was working out the colours on individual swatches, and then putting them together, it gave you a different feel. Not better, not worse, just different.
Right.
So I wanted people to have the experience of seeing them individually as well. So I was about to say with Anne's permission, but without Anne's permission,
No, do it.
I added to the pattern.
She totally did.
Wall hanging options, so you can do them individually.
Oh.
So I have just a couple of examples here. So I've got, that's
a little swatch.
Laxdale one,
Yeah.
and
Ooh.
Isn't it great?
And then a couple of springy ones.
And they look so different on their own as well, because they're not influenced by the neighboring thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I really wanted to give them a chance to breathe on their own, as well as in this texture cushion that you can run your hand over and feel the differences, so that you could really give the colors a chance to work together, because they were designed in pieces.
Yes.
And I wanted a little bit of a nod to that, because you have to really see it on its own to appreciate the colors that each producer comes with. So the idea with the wall hanging and the cushion is you should, with the yarn in the box, be able to make the cushion and then have enough to make the wall hanging as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, as you're showing all these, I was thinking, wow, you could make a hat. You could use those charts and that color scheme, and order more yarn if you needed to from those, from those individual producers. You may have enough, to translate those charts to a hat.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing that I'm really excited about, is with each of the cushions, you have 5 colorways to do whatever you want with. And I'm really excited to see what people translate this into.
Wow. I'm just keep saying wow, but I don't have enough adjectives. The possibilities here with what you've given people, not only the cushion pattern and the wall hanging, but the possibilities for those colorway selections for those individual producers are endless. You could make a scarf or a cowl or anything, little coasters. The brilliant.
Yeah. So my hope for this would be that it's packed with information, gets you thinking, and it's really would help you take it and run with it as much as you could as well. So I'm excited.
I think you've given people a whole toolbox in order to do that.
I think that Terri came at this project with the experience of her teaching. Her experience as a knitting teacher.
Yes.
And she really elevated the project. It's so much more than just a pattern. It's you will have a full experience working with these yarns and really get an understanding of them.
And what a wonderful way to showcase those individual producers from their crofts and their animals and their talents and abilities. I mean, you've really honored them as well.
Yeah, so one of my questions on here in the after knitting section is, after looking at their website, what producer's story drew you in the most? Like, just prompting people to go and really look into this. Like, I know it's already in front of you, but there's so much more to it. So yeah, I'm hoping, I didn't really think about it like that, and I think you're right, is a lot of the steps through this, I was like, okay, what are the people's questions? What do they need answered? What can I tell them, and what can I help them find out for themselves? Because a lot of the time in knitting classes, especially in designing classes, there's no answer. It's all, well, this is your options, and if you're designing, this is the options you have to choose from. So it's really a lot of pointing that out and pointing out the options, because there's no right answers. And a lot of these colorways are maybe not what I would automatically go for myself. So I really try to make something that works, but maybe isn't me so much, because not everyone that's looking at this is me. So I tried to make some that work, but doesn't have my normal look to it. So it really is a really varied project. I put a lot of, for a long time before I fell asleep, this is what I was thinking about, like, what can I add into here?
And what a fantastic opportunity for you to step outside your own comfort zone, and that's how we grow, though. And it's difficult and it's hard, but that's how you level up as a professional, is by doing things that are uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what this definitely was for me. If I knew what I was getting into, I probably would have said no, but I didn't. So here we are.
And how amazing!
Yeah, if I knew how scary it was going to be, I would have been hesitant. But
what an achievement. I mean, that's brilliant. Good for you. That's fantastic.
It's a huge thing. Thank you, Anne, so much for trusting me with this, because this is huge.
I have to say, not only did you step up to the challenge, you absolutely exceeded it and did such a fantastic job with it. I just was so impressed, watching you go through the process and then seeing the finished product and everything. You just did an amazing job.
Amazing.
With it.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Good on you.
And it's done now, Terri. Now you get to see people make them.
We're celebrating.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have confetti here.
I know. Well, I'll bring my Cecil back.
Effects.
Excellent. That's just fantastic.
Awesome. So Terri, now that the project has been revealed, there are people who are going to be interested in picking up a copy of it who weren't able to get the Shetland Hogmanay Box. So where can they find a copy of this?
I will have these available on Ravelry in the new year. So it'll be all set up, ready to go on the 1st of January, so that you can go crazy. Of course, it's for the Hogmanay Box people while it's Hogmanay, but once we're on the 1st of January, we're starting fresh. We're all good to go again. So yeah, you can get it on Ravelry, and it'll be available as a download on my website as well.
Wonderful.
Whichever suits you best.
And it tells you in the pattern, for those of us that don't have the box, it tells you which colors that you used, correct?
Yes. So let's have a look here. I've got on my chart page, we have the charts, and we also have a bubble for each
fantastic.
producer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all in, just 1 to 6, whichever colors it is.
Right.
Yeah. So you can easily as well take this chart and add your own colors later after this project, or tweak things and play around with things. It's all ready for you to do that.
So cool. I'm looking forward to seeing. And let me ask you this real quick before we move on to our next question. Is there, I know that if people post photos on social media, they will use hashtag SHB 2023 for the shop. But are there social media hashtags that you would prefer people use for your pattern going forward into the new year? Or can they just go hashtag Terri Laura or whatever? Or tag you on Instagram, certainly.
Yeah, so that you are sure to see it.
So that, you can see.
Tag me so I can see it, definitely. I think this will and forever be Shetland Hogmanay Box 2023.
Okay.
It's not, that's what
it is.
That's what it is. That's what's been planning. All the
Yes.
planning has gone into it for that. So no matter when you're making it, the heart went in it in 2023.
And be sure to tag Terri Laura, her account.
Yeah. Tag me so I can see it. And no matter what you make, because everyone knows I can't be told what to do. So if you take some of this information, if you take this general idea and turn it into your own thing, I really want to see that too. Fantastic. So don't be afraid. There's nothing you can offend me. I'm a designer because I can't be told what to do. So I'd love to see where you take this as well. So please tag me in anything that this has inspired you to do.
That's so cool. So what do you have coming up in the new year?
Oh, new year. We've got visitors, coming all year again. That's really the highlight of being here in Shetland, is sharing it with people that come and see us. And I'm really taking it as it comes this next year. I will have to wait and see. I'm going to have to see what strikes me. This year has been so busy. We've had so many different projects coming through, and this has been a major one for me. So I've really...
You might need a minute to just...
Yeah. And I'm enjoying my break with my family. Yeah. I'm going to just enjoy a quiet winter, because that's the quiet that we have here in Shetland. Yeah. And it won't be springtime until I have my plans in place anyway. So that's how I operate. We hibernate. Yeah. We come again.
Well, sure. I mean, you're at 60 degrees north, roughly. So it gets dark you were telling us when we're recording this, it gets dark at like 3 p.m.
Yeah. So when we started this video, I'm sure this side of my face was lit up, and now this light has gone down and this light has gone up. I could probably adjust this again.
Hibernating is good.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So there's only that little bit of light now above the hill, and then it'll be dark in about 10 minutes. So this is 10 to 4 now. Yeah. But when this goes out, it'll be even darker still. So
yeah.
Wow.
So I will put all the links to your website and your social media. I'll put all your information down below in the video description, and also people can go, and your Ravelry information as well, so that when the pattern goes live, people can look on your designer page on Ravelry and find that. So yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Terri.
Thank you.
And for working this in. I know things are busy there, and you have a little person, and so coordinating everything across 3 time zones and family obligations. I really appreciate you working that out. So
yeah, thank you. You too. Thank you for having me on, and it's always nice to see you too. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun. It's been so nice to reveal it and bring it all back, because we have our deadlines. We hand it in. Mine was a little bit late, but still it got handed in, and now we're bringing it all out again, and I love that.
It's fun, and I've been waiting to see it. Yay!
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks, well done. Again, well done.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Wonderful. Thank you.
We're back.
We're back. Is she not grand?
She's fantastic.
She's wonderful. I'm so impressed with her. She did such a wonderful job.
Yeah. It was lovely. Wow. So we have one more of our friend exchange packages.
Yes.
And then we will have our New Year's Eve and Hogmanay celebrations.
Yes.
Does your family do a thing on New Year's Eve?
It really depends where we are and what's going on. So like in the Philippines, this is the biggest night for fireworks.
Oh dear.
Like huge amounts. Huge, like a finale for like an hour.
Oh my.
As far as you can see. It is big. And we obviously do not do that here. And Adam and I talked about it, and we were kind of like, do you want to do something? I was like, I don't really want to do anything.
We're tired.
Can we go to bed? So I don't know that we have anything planned. We might hang out tonight and just call it good.
We're going to do board games and our little smoky roll-ups. We talked about that. Little smokies rolled up with cheese and a crescent roll. Probably some, fruit and cheese, like your I can't pronounce that. What's the word? Yeah, that. Say that again.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie. Yeah,
there
that.
You go.
I mean, I could maybe spell it. I know what it is, but I have trouble
Right.
saying it.
It's fun to say.
Yeah. Anyway, and Quirkle.
Nice.
I like Quirkle. Do you have
Nice.
Quirkle?
I don't think we do. I've played it at other places, so
It's one of my favorites. I like Quirkle.
yeah.
And we might watch a movie. Usually I make it until midnight. My husband, not so much.
Yeah, I'm usually up until 10:30 most nights anyway, so it's not that much of a stretch.
Yeah, same.
So,
But,
yeah.
you know, Mr. Pearl goes to bed at 8:30, sometimes 9 if there's a basketball game on. But he also
Same.
gets up for his work really early, so you can't fault him for that. So
Yeah.
we'll see if
I
we
want to
speed up.
I want to show real quick a really cool yarn I found yesterday at
Oh yeah, I want to hear about your Knit New
Knit New
Haven
Haven.
experience. Mhm.
So Shayna and I went to Knit New Haven.
Yeah.
Which I know I've talked. So Knit New Haven was a sponsor of the podcast for a really long time. Very consistent support. I totally appreciate Linda for supporting the show for as long as she did. And then I just went to I do not monetize anymore at all. So
Yeah.
with much love to everybody who did, it's easier for me to not monetize than to monetize.
Right.
So so Shayna had heard me talk about New Haven and like, if you're going to New York, come over to New Haven, hop on over and see Linda and go to the pizza place. And so that's like, we were basically doing what I've been telling people to do, So we went into Knit New Haven. Linda was there. She is just a peach of a person. I love her so much. And I was poking around in the shop going, I'm in the middle of my restash. I cannot buy yarn.
Because it
I
won't
just
fit in the
can't.
chest. You said it wouldn't fit in the chest.
Everything fits. Everything fits for my protein fibers. Notice the qualifier. So I'm looking around and I see this yarn on the shelf and I'm like, that's an interesting concept, but how would you use it? And then they had a little swatch of it and it felt like normal fabric. And I was like, okay, I'm getting some of this. So what am I talking about? It is this Noro Asaginu, we decided it was called. And it is.
Can you show me the label closer?
The name is on the back, Asaginu.
Okay.
And it is Old Lady Ice, 69% linen.
Oh.
1% polyamide.
Nylon.
30% paper. Like straight up paper.
Wow. Wow.
And I was like, how is that a thing? But they had a swatch there. And she said they I think it was crocheted, if I remember. They crocheted it, blocked it, it moved, it was fine. I was like, that is magical. So I got it in 3 full colors, and then Linda gave me like a little bit of yellow that they had left from the sample they made.
Interesting.
And I'm going to use this, I think, to crochet like a garland.
Oh,
on this wall once all of this is gone. And
interesting.
have like this be the vine and some leaves and then like some flowery.
Oh, do you have a pattern for this or you're just going to wing it?
I'm just going to make it
'Cause you're
up.
good
I've
at
been
that.
crocheting for
Yeah.
years at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I already have it in my head what I want to do. So I think I'm just going to sit down and do it. Maybe I'll write it up. I don't know. It's one of my goals for this year is to get some of these patterns that I keep just sitting down and knitting actually written for other people.
Interesting. That's cool.
So I'm like super excited to give this a go.
Yeah.
So that's what, and then I also got these earrings, which are very thin slices of knitting needles that they're all gold and silver colored. So they sparkle like New Year's,
You're so festive.
And that's from a lady who works under the name Burr Oak Studio.
Oh yeah, she was in Dallas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, these are hers.
Yeah, and they take old metal knitting needles and like you said, they chop them up, sand them, do cool things like that, or they make bend them and make bracelets and
They had a knitting needle they banged out flat, and then they put a barrette back on it. So it's about that
Interesting.
long, and it was
Wow.
like a flattened knitting needle for a barrette. It was cute. I don't have enough for a barrette. So
Okay, so we're gonna have to have a talk in about a month and have a hair update.
yeah.
That's it. We'll have to do monthly podcasts with Anne for hair
Monthly
update.
until the transition is over.
Is the transition ever really over? I mean,
Well, with graying hair, probably not, because it just keeps
but
getting
no, I
whiter,
mean,
right?
I always am having a hair dilemma. Finally, I tell my husband, okay, I have a hair dilemma. And he's like,
He's
what
like, get
now?
on and talk to Anne about it. I don't want to hear it.
He's on team shave it.
I am too.
Okay.
I am too. Do the that you had before.
And
Yeah.
it's both sides. And you
Yeah.
start, I think, so I'm in the mirror last night and I'm like, okay, it's helpful when you go in to have a plan of like where you want that line, the shave line to be.
Right.
So I think we might have to, before my appointment, which is next week on the 3rd, I think, we might have to just do a little Sharpie marker here and a Sharpie marker here, just so I've done the guesswork for her.
Okay.
Just
Well,
boop, boop.
and I would talk it over with her too to see, what she would recommend. And
No,
I mean,
here's what Amity says.
uh-huh.
I'll do whatever you want. I don't care. It's your head.
Yeah. Kate will try and pull that on me too. And I'm like, well, let's discuss a little bit, like blah, blah, blah. And then, so when I went in this last time and I was like, I don't know, like, I don't want the streaks, but should we do a gloss and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I know, I can see in her eyes that she knows the answer, you know? So I just kept talking until I saw her go, I was like, okay, that's what we'll do. You could have just said, that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. Like,
I mean,
I'm coming to
yeah,
you for advice.
I
I
know.
don't know.
Amity
I
doesn't
don't know.
really give me advice. And the thing is I love her so much, but here's the thing. We are so opposite.
Uh-huh.
I mean, because she's like makeup, false eyelashes. I mean, perfectly made up. She's like
Uh-huh.
in her, I don't even know if she's 30 yet, but I've been going to her for years. And she's, works out all the time, has this perfect Instagram body, and her hair is long and she dyes
Uh-huh.
in different ways and does different things. We're like opposite. But the reason I love her is because she'll just do whatever I want. And she's
Right.
funny. And,
Yeah.
we've connected.
Nice. I love it.
But
I love
it's
it
the
when you
same
find your
thing, though.
person.
But it's the same
When you
kind of
find
thing,
your
though.
hair person, you don't let them go.
I just talk and then she goes, do that.
Perfect.
Pretty much we arrive at what I already knew I was going to do anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we should do our Friendsgiving stuff.
Okay. It's Friendsgiving.
I
It's
just did my
Friendsmas. We've called it lots of things.
Friendsmas. Yeah. We're
It's okay.
Friendsmissing.
It's okay.
So I did one. So it's your turn to do one.
Oh, okay. A box.
I honestly have no memory of what that one is.
I have no memory of this.
Oh, it's an ornament. Open it up.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking at for a second. I was like, is this Krampus? No.
It's a pre-Coca-Cola Santa Claus.
Okay. It's a cool box. Anne sent me a passport.
I got your passport, Jana.
Yay! Anne sent me a passport.
There, now you can travel. Now you can go abroad.
If you want to travel the world, you need your valid passport at the ready. Issued by the U.S. State Department, this little booklet is not just an official document. It's a wonderful momentum of places visited around the globe. You can be a citizen of the world with this handy credential. Bon voyage.
Bon voyage.
And gate B2.
There you go. You already know where to go for the flight.
That's fantastic.
There you go. You have a passport now.
Yay.
You have a passport.
Will it get me into Scotland?
Probably not that one. I will say that little tag is a bit of a lie now, because It used to be when you went through, they would stamp it like a dude
Oh
would
yeah,
stamp your
they don't do that
passport
anymore.
or a dudette. A lot of countries, they don't do that anymore. You scan it. They take it, they scan it, or you scan it yourself, and then they're like, okay, good, go ahead in.
You don't get
So
the
my newest one only has, I think it has stamps from when we went to Peru,
yeah.
and that's about it. Everything else has just been scanned.
That's
It's a
kind of
little
a
sad.
letdown.
Oh, it's squishy, whatever I'm touching. Oh, don't lose the sticker. Hold on, it needs some hair. It needs its hair done real quick.
It's traveled a bit.
It's a Wyoming gnome.
It is. So the reason that it's those colors is because Wyoming only has one state university.
Okay.
And that is their colors. They are the Wyoming Cowboys. And the little pin on the gnome's hat that is our state logo. And that logo of the bucking bronco, the horse's name was Steamboat.
Oh,
Because
it
he had,
was.
and the reason his name is Steamboat is because he had a deviated septum. He had a broken nose at one point from a rodeo injury, I think. And he made a whistle sound when he would get like worked up, and snort.
Uh-huh.
So his name was Steamboat. Steamboat was actually born west of Chugwater.
Oh, okay. So he's like, it's a state connection, but it's also a local connection. And then there's that little guy. Thanks, Jana.
You're welcome.
I love them. I have all my stickers here now that I have to
No,
figure
I
out where
love
I'm gonna put
gnomes so
them.
much. I hope you do
I
too.
know. Now I have a little bit of Jana.
Yes.
I'm gonna name her Jana.
Okay.
Well, now let's talk about Jana's hair.
Okay.
It's very full. It's longer than her body though. So I don't know. It needs to do some plucking. That's all I'm saying. Oh, there's like fuzz all in the air.
I know. Anyway, okay. Last yarn.
Oh, yep. Last yarn.
Yarn of the Woolly Winter Countdown.
Oh, Terri.
Woo! No way. Oh, I love this. Oh, look at that. That's Malabrigo sock. Look at that color. You know what I just realized?
What did you just? That might work in your fade.
Yes. I sent okay, so the glittering snowscape shawl that I'm going to make for hibernating, I sent Anne, it's not a very good picture, and upon her advice, I need to go outside and look at it in the light of day.
Yep.
But I sent you a picture of what I'm considering, and now I'm like, oh.
Trying to pull it up again so I can.
Or I can insert.
Yeah, I mean.
Maybe.
It might be cooler than the ones that you have, or it might just be the lighting in the photo. I don't know,
but I'll go check in the light of day.
Yeah.
See. I love Malabrigo so much.
It's good stuff.
It is. Look at that.
Nice.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And orange. Which makes me happy too, because I didn't find any Terri's chocolate oranges this year.
Did we come back to this? Yeah. On the thing? Yeah, I couldn't find them anywhere either.
But in fairness, I waited too long. I should have done it a lot earlier. I waited.
I feel like they're the kind of thing that like they go half off after Christmas though,
not around here.
Like I did not see them anywhere. They weren't at the grocery stores. I didn't see them at.
People know about it.
Well, what I'm wondering is like, did they happen? That's what I'm curious, because what I'm saying is like we used to have excess in our area. You could get them half off after. And now I saw none. I saw no evidence of them at all this year. So if you saw Terri's chocolate oranges in your area, let us know just so we can.
But now I'm happy. Yeah, I can have this tonight with my Quirkle and my little Smokies.
That's right. That's right.
And then tomorrow we're getting walking again. Oh my word.
Yeah.
I'm fat. My dog is fat.
I'm just swole. No, that's
Mm.
not swole.
No, that's not true.
There's chub. There's chub. There's definite chub going
And
on.
I know that my dog hasn't been out as much as he should, because it used to be I never ever had to worry about his toenails because we live on a
Yeah.
gravel road. He just
Yeah,
wore
so
them
they
down.
just
And now, yeah, they're long. He like click, click, click on the dining room.
we had just before I just before I came in to record, I looked out our back window. So our neighbors have chickens. There's a strip of yard between our house and their house. They have a chicken coop. They let the chickens roam. We call them the yard dinosaurs. I love them. They're
I love that.
fantastic. They even like came through early in the spring and just ripped up our yard, just ripped it up. And I was like, oh, I
No, it's
love them,
great.
but
Yeah.
we're going to be in trouble with the landlord. The husband is the son of the landlord. So I'm like, I'm telling the landlord it was his kid's fault, like, but the grass grew back where
Oh
they
yeah.
ripped it up
Oh,
so well. So I'm like, let the chickens roam. Just
Oh yeah,
let it go. Anyway,
because they picked out all the yucky stuff and they fertilize as they
yeah.
go.
So we had a great lawn this year. So what is the big white fluffy protector dog?
Great Pyrenees.
Great Pyrenees. So they have a Great Pyrenees too that is usually staked out there to guard the chicken coop area. And his name is Reg, and he's just a nice dog unless you're so every now and then when I walk out to my mailbox. Okay, got to back up again. They used to have a pit bull.
Oh, okay.
And they would let the pit bull out at night to go run around. And I'm not someone who is anti-pit bull.
Oh, I'm
But
not.
I would step out on my porch sometimes when the dog was loose and he would get into a low growl position, like ready, like I had to get back in my house for my safety.
Because he's feeling threatened.
Because he was guarding. It was aggressive. It was aggressive. And so they had to find a new home for him.
And he might have eaten a chicken or two. Who knows?
He might have eaten me. Like it was an issue. It was not a safety thing. Yeah. So they got a Great Pyrenees, and I think they thought I was against dogs, period. And I'm not. I love dogs.
Right.
But the first time I went out and they were out with the dog and whatever, he came running right up to me. And the guy was like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, no, no, he's fine. Like, I know enough about this. He is a protector dog. He's coming to protect me.
He's
So
friendly.
he came over and he like came up, sniffed my hand, and then just like stood next to me and started looking around. So I just walked to my mailbox and he was walking and looking around for me.
Yeah.
He's my bodyguard. And I walked back and then he ran back over and was back to guarding them. So every now and then I go out and Reg is out and he comes and guards me, keeps me safe.
Yep.
And then goes back out. So anyway, I looked out
there could be a coyote between you and your mailbox.
Legitimately, there could be.
Yeah.
Where I live. So I look out my back window as I'm preparing whatever, and I'm like, Reg is out in the backyard. And he was not set free. He dug himself out because he's trailing his cord and the stake unit that normally keeps him there. And we never put away our patio furniture this year. We have all this like sturdy metal patio furniture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's about to get all tangled in that, like, because he's dragging this thing. So I tell Adam goes out and he takes he got a big thing of jerky in his stocking. So he took one of those sticks.
He bribes Reg over.
And gave Reg one. And then Reg was like, oh my gosh, I love you. So he starts jumping around. And Adam goes over to get the anchor thing.
Yeah.
And Reg goes around this 2-seater thing and then runs up to Adam. So then he starts dragging that. And then like it gets tipped over and Adam's just like, what? And Reg is just trying to get the last bit of that,
Yeah.
It was hilarious. And then anyway, they got it worked out between the two of them.
But I'm sure he just wanted to go with his flock.
Oh, well, the flock wasn't out this morning. He just wanted to go for a ramble. He was
I misunderstood the whole thing. I thought this happened when the chickens were digging up your yard.
Oh no, this was this morning. This was this morning. This was my morning entertainment before I came and logged in. The chickens hadn't been out yet. Reg just got free. And I looked over in the yard and I could see where he had like dug
Yeah, they are diggers and great
Yeah.
parents, and they get bored. They need stuff
Yeah.
they need. Yeah.
So
So
he
we used
was,
to have a purebred Great Pyrenees. We had him for
okay.
about 12 years. His name was Wally. And
Reg and Wally. I love
yeah,
it. Okay,
yeah.
carry on.
And Wally, you could not keep him in. He was digger. One time he made such a hole. My daughter was about 5.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to get in the whole thing and only her head was above ground. He was like, yeah, they definitely are diggers. And we couldn't keep him in. So finally we're like, forget it, whatever.
Yeah.
The 1 year that the kids went to public school here, they got on the bus and the bus driver's like, your dog's like down the road about a mile. I'm like, yeah, he knows where he lives. I mean, my nearest neighbor is a mile and a half. It's really not an
Right.
issue because
Right.
so he would have this huge radius. And I'm like, that's fine. He did his job. He kept the coyotes away. He kept the goats safe.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
he
these are
come
the
home.
dogs that get left on the mountainsides with the
Oh,
sheep for
sure.
like
Yeah.
months, and that's their job
Yeah,
is
they're
to
from.
protect
Yeah,
the Pyrenees.
right. That's
Yeah.
their work. He knows where
Yeah.
he lives.
Yeah. So anyway, I love Reg, and it was a brilliant like comedy going on in my backyard today, thanks to Reg.
So
And it's,
how did if he broke his thing, how did Adam get him home?
I don't know. I had to come in, so I
Oh,
just saw that Adam had the cord and was taking him
you
back
haven't seen
over.
the resolution to this.
Yeah, I'll have to get the update after. This was right as I was, which is otherwise I would like, I do not fear Reg. I would have gone out and
Oh,
taken
no.
care of it, but we just had our thing. So I had to send Adam out to deal with it.
So now we have 2 knotheads. They are Great Pyrenees. They're half Great Pyrenees and half Bernese Mountain Dog.
Oh, yeah.
And they are a trial. Because I don't trust that they just won't get hit.
Yeah.
They know where they live, but I can't just let them run free.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a pasture that's about 18 acres that we're electric fencing. So they can
Okay.
go woo and be all happy
Yeah.
and fun, but they hopefully will stay off the road. Because even though we live in the middle of nowhere with a gravel road, people still drive like 60 down this gravel road.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's, you're letting it free. You're letting it loose.
Yeah.
No one's around.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Very few people speed in like super populated areas. It's when they see open spaces that they're like, let's go.
It's
Yeah.
true. Anyway, and it has been delightful.
It has been delightful.
I have not laughed so much on a daily basis for a long time.
I'm glad we got to do it again. This is the third time?
Yeah.
Third time? Yeah,
Yeah.
third time.
So if you need something to binge, go back and watch
There's
the
2
previous
more.
years. Yeah, just search the playlist. There's Woolly.
Yeah.
The first one was called Hand Dyed December,
December, I think
something
we
like
called
that.
it.
How about I just put the links to the playlist down below?
That's a
I'll
great
do
idea.
That'd be easier.
And then we went to Woolly Winter Countdown last year, and I think we're just going to keep that.
Yeah.
I think
Woolly
we
Winter
decided.
Countdown 2022,
Yeah.
23, 24.
Because no matter what kind of advent we get,
It works.
it'll fit. It'll work for us. So what do you have coming up, my dear? You're doing the knit along, right?
Yep. Hibernating. So if you want to check that out, go over probably maybe New Year's Day, maybe maybe tomorrow, maybe the 2nd. No, because that's I'll be in town. I'll be in town. Imagine that.
It'll be like 12 days since you've been.
Anyway,
So
what I will advertise. I'm gonna make I'll make a video, but you can watch on Instagram. You can go over to my Patreon page and get details. I'll post that as a public post, not as a patron only post, but as a public post saying, here's what we're gonna do. If you want to join in, become a patron. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So watch for that. And I'll put things on Instagram and the Pro Together Facebook group and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Watch for that if you want to join in. And then, we're going to do our normal tutorials, podcast interviews. If I can get you back at least, like once a month at least, we'll see. You have a lot of traveling. You have stuff going on.
I have a lot of stuff coming up. And so like people are you guys are being so kind in the comments about enjoying it and hoping that we can continue. I haven't said no. But I have said I gotta like I'm waiting to hear on a few things
Yeah.
before I can commit to anything like that.
Right.
And I will say, Jana and you and I committed this last year to do it once a month.
Yeah.
And you saw
did
how
it.
it happened, you know?
Well, we made it most of the time. But
Yeah, there
you
was a lot of
travel. You
yeah,
travel a lot, and hopefully I will be traveling a little more. I have some stuff coming up as
right.
well. I
Right.
hope I have some applications. I haven't said this publicly, but I have put out course proposals for a couple of
Right.
major yarn festivals.
So
Uh,
Jana may be coming nearer to where you are.
well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I've applied to teach a class at Dallas Fort Worth Yarn Fest. I've applied to teach a class or two at Flock
Mhm.
Festival in Seattle in August. So, I mean, those applications are newly submitted, so I won't hear for a bit yet.
So
So
who
I don't know.
knows?
So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
So,
There's
and I've
things we want to
submitted
do.
an application for a master's program, which will be,
Graduate
a
school.
lot of time on my
Graduate
shoulders.
school. That's
So,
a lot.
but
Yeah.
in the meantime, I am planning to, in the next week or two, hopefully have another audio podcast out. So if you want to hear more from me anyway, you
Yes.
find that it does come here to YouTube, but it's just the audio. Otherwise, you can subscribe any podcasting app that you have. It should be there. Just search for I Thought I Knew How and click follow or join or subscribe, like whatever that
However it
app's
works. Like I have it
button.
on my Apple thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that called?
It's free. It's
Yeah.
a free, it's audio podcasts are free.
Yeah.
If it's trying to get you to pay, some of them, some of them now you can make them paid. I don't do that.
Yeah.
It's free.
Right.
So just,
And
and then it downloads to your device and
all of Anne's links and details are below in the video
yeah.
description. I have a little section. Find Anne here. Blam.
Find me.
Boop, boop, boop.
So, but I am headed back to Shetland at the end of January and I will be there for a month for Upelia. And as I come back, I'm going to Unraveled at Farnham Maltings in the south of England. And then I'll be home for a month and then I'm going back to Shetland for a month. And as I come home that time, I'm going to the Woolly Good Gathering, which is a brand new fiber festival starting in Edinburgh again.
Yep.
And there's details to be had online about the Woolly Good Gathering. So I will be there for that. And then I will be home. And I'm planning something this summer that I don't have enough details yet to give information about. But I will come back and talk to Jana when I have details about that. I will commit to that.
We'll share all
I
that.
will be briefly in Shetland to host one last week of the Macking Our Way Through Shetland tours.
Okay.
I designed a tour before I decided not to do it anymore. So I'm going back to host 1 week of a sheep to shawl or a sheep to sweater tour that I designed with Jolene. If you are interested in going to Shetland, Jolene does still have spaces on Fair Isle, Contemporary Crafts, and Lace Weeks available. Okay. And then I'll come home again. And then I'm going back to Shetland again.
Let me clarify though, the sheep to shawl one that you designed, that's full, is that correct?
That one's full. Okay. That one's full. And that one is only for people coming back.
You have to have a prerequisite.
Yeah, a prerequisite is one of the other tours, and then you can come back.
Okay.
So then I'll be back for Shetland Wool Week.
Right.
In Shetland.
So that's at least.
And then I'm coming back. So I have 4 trips to Shetland lined up for this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see. We'll see if we can connect a few times, even if you're here or there or whatever. Yeah. And if we are fortunate enough to have the stars and schedules aligned, maybe we could actually meet up for real in the same location.
I don't know why I'm doing that. I apologize.
Because we're going to try to make the matrix work.
Yeah.
So we could actually, you see the problem though. You see the problem with our schedules and trying to make the stars align.
Guys, this is what we're dealing with here. This is what
You're a problem because I
am a problem.
But it's so wonderful. I'm glad people have enjoyed it. The comments really warm our hearts. It's fantastic. Thank you all for supporting our vlog every day.
And getting Jana to 50,000. How amazing is that?
I'm so happy.
I'm just going to throw out there, I would like to be at 10,000 Instagram followers by the end of next year. So if
Do
you
it.
have not followed me on Instagram, I would love it if you would hop over and follow me.
At I Thought I Knew How.
I thought I knew how. But awesome for Jana, 50K.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. And
I
well
took a little-
deserved. You do really great work.
Thank you. I took a little screenshot when it said 50,001. Took a little screenshot, texted it to my husband.
Yay!
Thanks for doing this with me. I'll miss you every
Thanks for
day.
having me back. Yeah, I know.
But I have a yarn to knit with, and I'll think of you.
Yay. And I'm going to eat all of my snacks.
Did you guys finish off the snowman snacks yesterday?
I the little I sent what was left home with Shayna for her kids.
Oh.
So she was pretty pumped about that. She thinks her kids are gonna just absolutely love it. We ate so many of them though, Jana. Like they were delish. They were delish. I really like those. And my family loved the Skittles. Like I had a bunch of them too. I didn't let them steal it all, but they were like, these are amazing. And yeah, big hit. Big hit.
Well, have a wonderful new year.
Thanks, you too.
I hope you enjoy your evening with your family, and I'm going to stay up and we just go out on the porch and go, Happy New Year. And yeah. All right, my friend.
Okay.
I'll see you on the flip side.
I'll see you soon.
All right.
I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.